for audit report. From January 2020 to 2022 and up to date, we have been sending a trial and operating report and backing it up with cash. With cash payment. During this period, we received a side income of 1,974,982,476 in 2021 and 1,151,784,336 in 2020 as of December 2021 and 2020, which gives a total of 3,126,766,812 bills. Out of this, we pass on to our room 385,266,973 bills in 2021 and 252,136,405 bills in 2020, which gives a total of 637,403,378 bills. In our next side income was 1,589,715,503 bills in 2021 and 899,647,931 bills in 2020, and in October 2022, which is our focus, we received a side income of 1,904,427,999 bills and passed on to our room the sum of 378,433,026 bills, which gives us a net side income of 1,525,994,973 bills. The administration, in summary, the administration and Treasury Department ensures that financial policies and practices of the SDA Church are consistent and general church guidelines and the basic principles in general accepted accounting principles, cost, revenue, matching, and disclosure. The Treasury provides financial statements, and the Treasurer reports to the Executive Committee members and ANCOM. Yearly budgets are developed and presented to the Finance Committee. The Treasurer and his team also acts as the counselor to local churches, treasurers, and the Southeast and Northeast regions treasury. The conference takes care of workers and pastors, medical, and child education for all those who are qualified. During the past years, we have assigned the regions, assisted the regions in some of the areas that their treasury was lacking. These are the accomplishments that we have had as a mission then and now. One of it is amalgamating regions and Western region that combine statement in 2020. The second one, and the South. The third one, ongoing phasing of a portion of the Waterloo land. And Market Square. We provide financial statements each time the executive highlighting the key indicators. Despite of the COVID-19 pandemic, provided in a timely fashion each year. Participation, which development of the budget is enhanced by officers. While we are humbly grateful to God for all His bountiful blessings, there is still much to do. While we have carefully managed church funds, a significant turnover in our financial performance has been elevated to a higher level. The regions have recently countered. This has necessitated a more stringent control over our church finances and to work on how we can encourage faithful tithing and generosity culture in our churches. As a conference office, the focus of financial management has been lengthening the planning horizon. The properties, we are still continuing with the accomplishments. We purchased some properties. One includes purchase of air conditioner for the server and related accessories for the server. Toyota Land Cruiser, courtesy of Tesla, 20 generator by of Tesla. Funding is needed to help meet the growing regions, that is the north and the south regions. Capital is needed to upgrade or build residences for our pastors. There is a growing need to increase the number of pastors. It is very challenging for them to do their monthly report. To build residence for our pastors and workers will reduce to too much spending on rent. Economic. We must prayerfully find ways to decrease expenditures without undermining essential programs and supportive services. Ultimately, these are the challenges that we are going through in the Treasury Department of the Sierra Leone Mission, then and now the Sierra Leone Conference. Ultimately, untimely and irregular submission of reports over the periods. This has made the timely preparation of financial reports a big challenge for the Treasury Department. Inaccuracy of the funds reports from the churches. This problem is majorly owing to the fact that most of the local church treasurers are lacking the required skill in handling the reports. The pastors too are not checking or verifying the accuracy of their funds reports. Challenges continue. Additional treasury staff required. More hands are required in the Treasury Department to improve the inefficiency. Thank you. This is the Treasury report.
Can you move for
I now move for that we accept the Treasurer's report subject to discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It has been moved. Can I have a second here? It has been moved. All right. It has been moved and seconded. Listening to the Treasury report, we want to take a few questions from the floor, but please let the question be short and to the point because we don't want to take much of people's time. Yeah. Before, please.
First of all, we want to commend Our Lady for that report. You've done very well. I got acquainted with her a few years ago when we were struggling and preparing for our conference status. Harris Lady, who has stood in for the treasurer who is currently out of the country. And I think the report is quite impressive. Thank you, lady. There are a few things I want to comment and add my voice to as I listen to the report. The challenge we are facing, not only in Sierra Leone, but across the board, is that the economies in which we live are becoming very expensive, and they add cost to our running of our conferences and fairs. And one of the key areas that we spend is rent. Rent is becoming a thorn in our flesh as far as funds are concerned. Our cities are growing. People are running from the rural areas to the urban centers to take advantage of the facilities and other opportunities. Therefore, it has increased rent in most of the cities. Yes. And if you go into our financial statements across board, you see the amount we spend in rent in a year is killing us. So we have been advising and talking to our fields if we can do something about getting our own rent system. And I want to give you an example. For some time ago, we were dying in Accra because rent was just escalating, going up and going up. So I spoke personally to the conference president, who was a friend of mine, that please take the bull by the horn and do something special. People will be unpopular now, but will be popular tomorrow. He was able to convince the committee. We sorted some funds. We took a loan from Heritage, and they were able to put about 8 to 10 apartments in Accra. You know how much it has saved the conference? Within 2 years, 2-3 years, they were able to pay off the loan, and now they are saving a lot out of rent. And they are not to do. It's not already, I can give you many examples. When I was the conference president, I told myself, I gave myself 3 years, I was not going to rent a personage. So I collaborated with the district. The conference do this, the district to do that. If you cannot do it, we remove the district from there to another place. Before I left, I was not renting. And I tell you, do you know how much it saved the conference to do other work? So I want to urge us, the laity and ministry, let us come together, especially our benefactors who are blessed to be outside the country. Help us to get personages, especially in Freetown. If you look at the rent they are paying, and other places like Bo is killing. Let us work hard and get it. The other aspect I want to talk about is timely reporting. As we move to a conference status, there should be a cut-off date for reporting financial reports to the office. And pastors should be given an ultimatum. If you don't report at that time, I don't pay you. Please, we are a church organization. We must do God's work in a business way. God is a businessman, true or false. Creating the world is business. Giving us facilities and things to take care is business. So, as a pastor, be on the task. Bring your report at the correct time, a set date. And also an accurate report. If you don't bring an accurate report, how do I pay you? So one thing I disagree with the report is that the churches are too many for the person. It's not true. Because yesterday we were talking about economics. If you pastor a district that cannot pay your salary, you say it's too much. I've pastored 34 churches with over 3,000 members before. I know what it takes. You can do it if you want to. So what I'm saying is that reporting is key to the success of our story. So make sure you get the accurate report. Look, church members have brought their money. They have trusted God, they brought their money. And the money to be sent to the storehouse. And the storehouse is the conference office. Send it there. Don't leave a dime in a local church. Report accurately and timely. God is God of order. So let us put discipline in the report. Thank you. These are my comments.
All right, thank you very much for that comment. We take this from here.
Yeah, I will make it snappy. One, according to the reports, our field was audited for 2019 and 2020. 2 years down the line, we are yet to get feedback from Chicas. Why? And two, I want, on behalf of the pastor in charge of Sventh-day Church and the district pastor for Peninsula, I want to invite the conference to Sventh-day Church. We have a parsonage there which you can upgrade to a 2-story building and address the rent issue. Thank you.
All right, I will speak to the first one and then somebody will address the second. The first one that you talk about the audit report, Chica's audit took place in this year. As a matter of fact, when you are being audited, it takes some time and it doesn't just come up automatically. So we are yet to receive the report. So I hope you got that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear sister, for this well summarized report. Again, I'm not sure if this is how church reports normally go in terms of treasury or finance. But as a lame person, I was hoping to see at least a summary of sources of income and a summary of expenditure. That gives me a clear picture of the financial standing of the church. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The financial will present that, so we don't want to miss out. We'll come to that. Your question will be answered when we do the presentation of the financial statement. Okay.
Let me clear the point. When we talk of treasury report, that's not the treasury report. They are a series of reports. It's not only one report. This is only an overview of the treasury report. From there, the other aspect will follow. We have the financial statement that will come. When? After this, we are taking this thing. We said treasury reports. Okay. So they follow each other. We don't give them at the same time. So we take it one at a time. We can allow you, we can take all at the same time, but your question, will be that's why we take it. Yeah. After a few minutes, you bring the financial statement and we look at it as well. The budget will come later. We don't take it as well. There's a reason why we do that. It's a process. So please. Very bad.
I hope you understand that we are doing one at a time. All right, this is just an overview of the performance of the financial department, or the treasury department over the period of time. The financial report comes. I know we have someone else.
Why can't you wait, for her to give us the financial statement? Because we have series of questions. So why can't you wait for the statement?
Okay, these are the you want us to present it.
No, let them go ahead.
All right. All right.
Yes. The first statement is the report talks about tithes, but I think the members also want to hear about the statement. Yeah, so I think I'm hoping that in the next presentation it will be covered. The representative or the person representing the treasurer talks about tithes, and it was mentioning billions. I just did a rough calculation. looking at our membership. This explains why we are suffering in rent. And in one statement I will say, we members are not returning our tithe faithfully. That is one reason. We are not returning our tithe faithfully, and the Treasury is at its knees. Then the issue concerning rent again, I also think the Treasury Department should be proactive. Pastors, we have properties in this country. When I came in 1994-95, when I took over as treasurer of this mission, look at our land at Waterloo. There are so many traders occupying it. And when we did that survey, we went there with Pastor Sventh-day and others. If each of those traders paid annually to the mission, we should not be even asking union for support. We have money to pay all the pastors and their rents, and we have excess fund remaining. But nothing is done about that. So the Treasury Department should actually be proactive. Then I also want to talk about this GCAS report. As far as I know, I've worked with GCAS. When we do audit reports, we return within 2 to 3 weeks. That report is ready. However, a program like this, we did not plan it a week or two. We should have sent to the audit service to send representative to come and tell the members about our financial position. That is how it is done. All over Ghana, not only Accra. That is what we've been doing. We go all out, they will send the conference notice to us, somebody will be ready and come and say, Sierra Mission from this period to this period, your account is good or your account is bad. But to have a program like this, and there is no independent audit to talk about the financial statement, I give it a question back. I will reserve my opinion.
Yeah. On the audit, let me say something about audit. Currently, we are having challenges with our audit department and the reports. They are short of staff. Even as I speak now, the audit that was done for the division of the GC, they came all over. Till today, we don't have the reports. I'm coming. Yeah, they can say that. Also, let me also make a point that we need to be a little bit critical. Why? Sierra Leone is evolving, is growing. There were a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges. Last year, just last year, or beginning of this year, I sent accountants from the division to come down to look at their finances. It was again sent to the division to be scrutinized. We have their financial statements for the past 1 year. We've gone through it before we granted this conference status. We've done thorough work on their finances. And we think that Sierra Leone can grow. That's why the conference status was given. So I want to allay your fears about finances, that I wouldn't have come here if things were not done right. They wanted it earlier. All the elders will be right. I came to meet them in Sierra Leone. I was nearly swallowed when I denied them that no conference status. Asked them what happened. I told them that their finances were very poor. We met almost the whole day. Elders, am I right? I had to convince them that they don't qualify. So when they work hard and qualify, in fact the finances were bad. I will have to assist them, help them to come to this stage. So I think they have done well as far as finances are concerned. And when they will present the financial statement anyway. I hope if we will support the conference from now, things will work for the better. I want to assure you that I will not sit down for them to fail. Because some of us, we have our name at stake. I want to protect it as well. I want them to limit it so that we can go on to the
Just a quick submission. Thank you very much, Pastor. And thank you very much, our sister, for the good presentation. you are stepping in someone's shoes of which your size is not adequately fitting. So we pardon you for that. But however, that's the Treasury. We know you have a part of the report, and according to pastors, you present them as they are set up. We actually want to see a statement, financial statement, showing clearly where we are and where we are going, so that we clearly know our targets. Coming to finances, the report just talks about time. But my question to the union, to the division, for CLU, are Adventists not qualified to do business? Or are Adventists exempted from doing business to raise funds? Because our concentration is just on time. That's why we are struggling to have finances. That's why we are struggling to pay pastors. I don't want to go to the nitty-gritties of the pastor's salary, but it's disheartening. Our vote goes to the pocket of the pastors. And we are saying these pastors should not do any other job rather than doing God's ministry, God's work. Are we not qualified to do business? We have lots of assets in CIU. A lot of assets. Where we are seated, go. We have a lot of assets. These assets have been grabbed by nobody. And the mission has lost all of those assets. We go to McKinney. We succeeded in having 2 acres of land. Look at the land parks there. This was generated from the contributions of members. We asked the mission, can you please help us to procure this? And they said, we don't have money. So the members themselves raised the resources and look at the land. And that land, who dedicated it and handed it over to the mission. It's the mission's property. Go to Otalo. The land is packed here. No investment. Have we constructed stores in those places? Have we constructed warehouses in those places? We have land more than enough for even the construction of universities. Look at here. The land is packed there. All over, and we are squeezing ourselves right in western area to manage those small pieces of land. Where are we? My question again, are we not qualified to do business because we're in the last days?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a legitimate question, but there are answers to the questions. Yes, the church may do business. I use the word may. I'm conscious about the word may. Why may? You see, our core business in God's work is not to do business. We are being admonished that our core business is what? Mission. What we are admonished to use to finance the church is tithes and offering. Period. We encourage our laity. Go to the US. We have ASI. Those of our brothers who are coming there, we know ASI. They are into business to support the church. Go around. I have traveled around by the grace of God. The church did business and the church failed severally. I can give you examples. If you've been to Norway, they had a good business running vegetarian restaurants. Very good. Vibrant. It began very well. Go down today, it is sold. They have sold all of them. The church has businesses that have been sold. Even our printing presses are being turned over to conferences. Look, our business is mission. But I will encourage you, the elders who God has blessed, put yourself together, take advantage of our property and do business to support the church. That's what we do. You are good in business. The church is not good in business. Pastors cannot do business.
I must be frank with you. We cannot do business. Any pastor will sign a conflict of interest. You cannot use our time to do any other work. We'll fire you. That's the policy. That's the policy. We encourage our elders, those God has blessed, our professionals. Put yourself together. Come to the church. Take advantage of our property. Do business. Make profit. And support the church with that money. I'm telling you, in the department I was holding, trust services, somebody brought an extraordinary tithe and income to us, about $14 million, to sponsor evangelism. Members giving money in our territory. Last year, I was able to write a proposal and I got about $140,000 to support the project in our territory. The money is coming from members who got us, who are doing business. So if we have property in Sierra Leone, if you can turn it to business, I challenge you, our elders, those of you God has blessed, those with the acumen to do business, take advantage, do business with it, and then give tithe and offering to the church to run. The church cannot do business. Again, let us remember where we are coming from. When you saw the church in Sierra Leone from 2015 coming, we were nowhere. We couldn't compare ourselves to anything. We were owing so much. Sierra Leone was so down. I praise God what I'm seeing today. I praise God. Maybe you don't see it. What I'm seeing today, I'm happy that the church in Sierra Leone can meet at a meeting like this with all of you seated to take decision for Sierra Leone. I'm very, very happy. Because you are here, you don't see what some of us are seeing. So please, don't let us look down upon ourselves. We have made strides. I congratulate you. I thank the elders when I met them in Sierra Leone. I promised them support the church and we'll get there. And they did it. And we can still do it. Let us be less critical. Let us look at the loopholes and see how we can patch it and move on. We have a long way to go. If we begin to criticize ourselves and look down upon ourselves, we cannot grow. This is just the beginning. So let us be gentle, please. I want to pray with you. God bless us.
Amen. I think we can now move, because that is what we want. We can now move on with the please reserve your comments. Let's try to look at the financial. I think we want to thank Ella for the clarification is made so far, because sometimes we come to this meeting with a blinded mind, thinking that people are in leadership, we are keeping our money. But before you reach this level, you need to be thankful to God, because they have done all of the routine checking to ensure that you are in a better position. That's why the graduate conference started. So let us be happy with that. So we have 2 copies of our financial report statement. We're not going to give it to everybody because the number is too large.
We'll take it back.
Yeah, we'll take it back. We're going to give it to a few people. We're going to reject it, and
we'll take it back.
We'll take it back.
We don't let it out. So yeah, those who give to market, we'll take it back, please. No problem.
Here, down here. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll go to it. We go to it. When the king did, when the king pays out, but if you don't pay salary like this, are you not happy? Please, we have done a lot.
All right. Are we okay there?
I'm not when I see the way I'm coming, it's a dream that is coming.
Are we set? Are we ready? Are we okay now? So we want you to please pay attention, because this is area of interest, and so we want you to pay attention.
You see, I've been a study data for many years. And I've been telling people, I've just watched since 2007. I've been in watching, and I said, money is life, and life is money. Yes, you need to take out my money for them. I will not sit down to see that the money in the church is being used. It won't happen. So I say your sentiment. But as my elder said earlier, we are not doing well in giving. We are not doing well. We'll see it another day. If we will give faithfully, I tell you, we are not faithful. So as we look at it, look at what we are giving first before what we are spending. And I commend the legislative because they have been spending less than what we do.
All right.
They are spending a lot.
There you go. Ahead.
Thank you once again for the comments, questions, and reactions. We still continue with our report. This is presentation of financial statements. We are comparing 2 years, 2021 and 2022 October. This is our cash and bank.
Maybe you can start like this. What is it? They can see it on the board. Because this is the last wire for us. People want to see. And seeing is believing, so they will want to see it. So let them see. Okay, I hope you are able to see it. I hope you can see it.
As we all can see from the section here, this is our cash and bank, cash and cash equivalent. As I said before, we compare 2021 and 2022. Our cash and cash equivalent in 2021 is 637,453 euros. And in 2022, we are seeing a great progression with an amount of 1,163,697,663 euros. And considering the accounts receivables for 2 years, 2021 and 2022, we have in 2021 1,541,479 bills. And in 2022, we have a receivables of 1,368,481,539 bills. And the next section is section of accounts receivables. As we can see, we have Wahoo with the greater box that is holding the money, and also we have other entities. We have employees and others. Wahoo is having 65%, and other entities 20%, employees and others 7%. Our accounts payable. Account payable 2021 is 620,165,784 bills. And in 2022, we have 456,237,850 bills. Details of accounts payable. As we can see from the chart, organizations is 41.96%, employees 10.05%, and others 49.99%. Aside income, that's some of the questions we are coming from. Somebody said, no, we want to know. This is our tithe income. For 2021, we have 1,423,675,000 for 2021. And 2022, we have 1,812,459 bills. That's the tithe income for 2022. Tithe income and budget. Still comparing the 2 years, October 2021 and 2022, the actual in 2021, the actual is 1,522,107,578 bills, and the budget was 1,286,872,070 bills. So as we can see, we budgeted for 1.2 billion and our actual is 1.5, which shows that we are making great improvements.
Amen. All right.
Actual tithe and budget 2022. The budget for 2022, as I said earlier on, 1,266,872,070 bills, and the actual we have here is just as I have mentioned it. So we move ahead. The offering income for the 2 years. Offering income for the 2 years, 2021 we have 81,228,109 bills, and 2022 we have 26,197,496 bills. The total income for the 2 years we have for 2021 is 1,423,675,289 bills, and in 2022 is 1,812,259 bills, which also shows a great improvement. The total expenditure for the 2 years. For 2021, the expenditure is 1,716,044,472 bills. In 2022, 1,589,202,847 bills. And as we can see, this is the total income and the total expense. The one with the black here represents income, and the one with the blue represents expenses. So we can see the manner in which expenses took place in the 2 years. Sections of expenditure. From the church, we can see that 86.09% comes from employees-related expenses, and 1.77 comes from traveling expenses. Administrative expenses is 0.02, and we also have office expenses, which is 3.00%, and the last one, which is plant operation, is 1.92%. Self-support, working capital, and liquidity, which shows the strength of an organization of the church. As we can see, we still comparing the 2 years, 2021 and 2022. The self-support for those 2 years we can see 2021 is 82.96% and 114.02% for 2022. The working capital 2021 is 99.88%. For 2022 is 255.74%. For the liquidity for the 3 years in 2021 is 44.23 and in 2022 is 101.4%. Addition to net assets. The 3 years net asset addition. As we can see, the net assets is 3,454,128,209 euros. For 2022, we have 3,931,602,482 euros. Indicators: self-support, working capital, and liquidity. Our self-support is 114.02. This is for the month of October. And the working capital October 2022 is 225.74%. And our liquidity is 101.04%. Thank you. I make a motion that we accept the statement subject to discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded. So we discuss the financial statement, but just before we give the opportunity to make some comment, I think the presentation makes it very clear. The document you have in your hand make a comparative analysis of the 2 periods, October 2021 and October 2022. So you can see the clear pictures of what your operation is like. We just gave you a bit of the document just like that, and we try to project it in the pie chart so you can see the progression. Now, especially the last part, I want you to go back to the last part, the liquidity. I mean, yeah, the indicator, self-support, working capital, no, the last part, yes. Self-support, you can see the indicator in the different categories from the working capital and self-support perspective, 40%, working capital perspective, and as well as the liquidity. So that places us in a better position. So we now give you the opportunity to ask a question, but let a question be sharp, please. I mean, please, we allow Ellen to make some comment.
Once again, we want to thank our ladies for the presentation. Yesterday, we told you we were presenting this today. We had a reason. We wanted to make sure we are presenting the right figures. As I speak to you, this report was sent yesterday to the division to look through. We spoke it, that's why we are working. So we are not going to give you anything we are not sure of giving you. The only thing I have to say here, I want to commend my colleagues. They did very well in 2022 as much as expenditure was concerned. Yes. They were able to minimize the expenditure. I was here early this year. Even I saw the kind of salary they would pay. But we are trying to build their budget, our finances in such a way that they maintain their salaries and was able to spend less than the income we have. So we want to commend them for what they did. The other aspect that I have a problem with is on the expenditure pattern, the way it went. Our recommendation for expenditure for a sale is that we should not spend more than 60% of our income on salaries and allowances. But if you saw the chart, we have spent about 84%, which is unacceptable. Why? There are reasons.
There are reasons why we are going that way, because the income is not sufficient. If you really look at the tithe income, 1 billion something, look at the other income offerings, it's about 90 million or there are less. So that amount cannot run the organization, cannot take off for other expenses. We need to take part of the tithe income to pay that they cannot do. So it's a problem. If we want to overcome this, we need to increase our system, our income. So that not expenditure, income. So you can beat down the percentage of tithe going to salaries and allowances. That's what I want to appeal to you, and it lies on us to do it. I want to commend them for the center. It's quite good, and we have consulted with our leaders ahead who are vested. Me, I'm a layman as far as finances are concerned. Only that I'm an interested party in finances. God bless you. Let our question be very snappy.
Yeah.
We want to thank our sister again for this very, very good report. Again, I'm speaking from the layman point of view. We are aware that there are other sources of income that comes to the conference. Example, we were talking about Waterloo and all those stores. We also know Tesla, they are supporting. How do those income reflect in this report? How do we know the other sources of income that comes to support the work other than tithes and offerings?
I am one person that emphasizing generation of generating income from within to sustain the operation of the church, because that's the only way we can be established as a conference. Now, Tesla has been sending a lot of funds to help, and you will discover that those funds are not being used to augment salaries, but for projects. And we send regular reports to Tesla to show them where those funds are being used, whether it's contribution to land acquisition, because there was a time, I think 2 years ago, when we ran into a crisis about the Bow land and the Mine 91 land. Very serious. And the people were asking for so much money at that time. So we had to rally around, presented the matter to ExCom. What do we do? The people are on our necks. And so contributions came here and there, and we still fell short. So I had to plead to Tesla, come to our aid. And Tesla did. Okay? And so basically Tesla's assistants have been going to specific aspect of pastoral ministry to help with rent. I need to tell you that for this year alone, we have spent close to 50 million euros on rent. Very close to that. But we do not use funds from Tesla to assist us with operations, because that would defeat the purpose of a conference. And so Tesla assistance is directed to various projects like office equipment. You saw generator, vehicle, and so on and so forth, assisting with rent. If it were not for Tesla, we will not be able, honestly, we will not be able to rent for all the pastors in the Western area. I can tell you that for free. So, TASNA's fund has been directed specifically to particular projects, not for our operation. Because the division will not accept, our statement that is based upon outside support. That is not a conference. A conference is the members are able and are committed to raise enough tithes and offerings for their operation. And that's what we have been pushing all along until we are able to get the requirement. Now, even when it came to the debt payment, LMA was very, very supportive in sharing the debts here and the allocations here and there. But I recall it was in February this year. Pastor Belu was going to come in March. He said, when I come in March, your record must be clean. You cannot be a conference if you are all the organization. And so the laity rallied around, church members, pastors, we all made the push. And towards the end of February, we had not still reached the required goal. We had a shortage of around 100 million. And I remember some laymen came to me and said, Pastor, what are we going to do? We have this shortage. We have the division coming to assess us, and we must be clean. Is there anywhere where we can turn together? TASNA came in. TASNA came in. So those are the areas where TASNA's fund has been of support to us in particular projects and so on. So if you want to ask, that's the area and so on. And we maybe in due time we will be able to maybe outline all of those things, and display them, So in our report, once in a while we show what TASNA has done here, what TASNA has done here, and what TASNA has done here.
Okay.
Pardon me? What the land has also done because it's
okay.
There is deposit from the land in Waterloo.
Okay. Now there are two aspects to the Waterloo land situation. It has given us administrators headache. Man, it's not as easy as you mentioned to go to those people and get the money. It's not as easy. You go to some of these, they will threaten you with juju, and they will threaten you to kill you. I remember the last time. You guys, you don't know what you're talking about. I remember the last time. They said, this land business here, if we not come up here with, now blood like a flow in the streets. And people told me this. In fact, one of them challenged me. I said, what's how you come out? What's how you doing all these years? When you're coming back to super from this land business, I was challenged. I said, all right, this is not an organization, an international church. The people that were here before, they don't go on. But now, new administration don't come on. We take this. Guess what? We gathered these people. There were over 200 in the market square. All of them, we got the list with the assistance of the police and the council. Oh, Pastor Kamara is not here. Yes, we got all of them, over 200. Some have stayed in that land for 30 years, some 15 years, some 12 years. Some have built schools, some have built mosques on our property. They listed all of these things. We went to ExCom and we displayed all of these facts. And the decision was, let's tell them that this is, before I got there, 90%, over 95% of them said, well, we have built stories here. We have built property, we have built institution. If you would decide to sell this land to us, we will gladly pay for them. So, but we said, you know, I am not in the position to accept that kind of offer because this is church property. Someday, Pastor Sani will not be here as president. Alright? And we don't want it to go on record that when Pastor Sani was as president, he sold land. And some people say, so they don't pocket something, you know, and so on. All those ideas will fly around, you know, even without checking the facts. So ExCom decided that we will ask them to pay rent. We set rent for all of them, over 200. I even talked with an elder. I said, when we begin to get this rent, we will use that to put up structures for our pastors, you know, and things like that. Very nice. When these letters went to them, they tawa that they will not pay. I don't know whether Pastor Bedu understand that word tawa. Yes. And up to the time that I speak, none of them have paid a penny. In that market, none of them. However, we have, and so we said this is only the legal language that they might understand. Alright? And so that is being vigorously pursued. There are two tenants, Mama Aja Tijan and Mama Aja Aisatuli. Those ones, they contracted with the division long time. And they have been returning rent on a yearly basis. And when we came, because the liquidity at that time was low, we incorporated that plan, that revenue into our operation. So Mama Lee, we can speak clearly for that. And Mama Tijan, they have been consistent. But the rest of them, very challenging. You have people who are bordering the Peninsula property. They have stores there. The previous lawyer sent a letter to them. Only a few responded. We have to go back. We have to go back. I tell you, I work at it. We self go foot by foot with these other people. We had a meeting with them. We sat with them. They said, yeah, only a few responded. And so, do you take them to court? Yes. And so on. It's easier said than done. But when you present that option to the lawyer, the first thing the lawyer will tell you, if it is possible, resolve it amicably. Because if it goes to court, it's going to drag, and years, it's going to spend money, and so on and so forth. Very challenging. But maybe at this level, we may be able to come up with profitable suggestions, constructive ideas as how best to approach that situation. Waterloo land is a challenge. It's a big challenge, I can tell you for sure. And it's like we have a wealth of money sitting there. How do we manage it? And not that previous administration have not done anything. No. Even before we came, previous administration took steps. They did not have a breakthrough. We came in and we also are in a struggle. So probably we are in a situation this time around when we can have the laity coming in to give us good support to break that deadlock and to make an inroad into this situation. In fact, when I looked at the list of those who owe us, there's one elder that will testify of this. When I look at this, I said, man, we'll be able to make huge money every month or every year, and we can do a lot of stuff. Not only for the Western area, but for the entire country. You know? But guess what? It didn't happen. So we want to throw it back to all of us at a time like this, especially with Waterloo. And I pray that we'll be able to come up with ideas and suggestions that will work, that by God's grace will make a difference and will be able to forge ahead and realize profitable and meaningful revenue from Waterloo Land. Thank you.
Yeah.
Want to count the number of people? Let's give them number. Those who
Yes.
before we speak, we line up. Give them number.
Time. Yeah.
Just 1 minute.
Pastor Bedu. One of the things we as
1 minute.
members of the Sierra mission are saying, not that we are criticizing those in authority. In this modern age we live, I'm also a pastor. In this modern age we live, transparency and accountability is important. Okay? I just made some few notice, because most of our members, especially the laity, don't understand financial statements. For like these footnotes, accounts receivable, accounts payable, it should have been explained underneath for them to know what this means. Because that was the same thing that happened when I took over. We realized that our account payable, we are so huge. This is because some of the pastors have not been paid for 2 years plus by past administration. So we have to fight hard to bridge that gap. We pay them, you see. So it should be explained so that the members should know. Then another important thing with this Waterloo Land, I know definitely the day Pastor Luceni will die, I go to my grave, I am alone. Nobody go and speak. So when I want to speak, I speak out. I am a pastor. Why should I be afraid of juju? The Bible says, greater is he that is in me. Why should I be afraid? The problem is we are too slow in taking actions. That is what is causing our problem, Pastor. When I went to Waterloo, we mobilized the members of Waterloo Church. We went to the secondary school, we mobilized some of the staff, and we went round. What the truth is, what was happening with that Waterloo Land, there is a gentleman, I don't know whether he's late now or not, it's called Patijan. It was there in record. Patijan will go to the mission and said, I will take this land, and he will give us something like 50,000 leons. That is what I meant. And Patijan will come and sublet this property to various people and make millions out of it. So when I came the day he went to the mission, I drove him away. And I told him, if you come with your juju, I have come. I asked him out of the compound. The other thing is, we failed at that time to engage our legal advisor, who was Elder Val. The mission was just using him and they were not paying him. It was when I came, I went with administration to his office, we begged him and we re-engaged him. And that was the time he wrote a letter for those women to start paying directly to the mission. And immediately I left, it stopped. So these are the things. We have the property. No mission officer or authority should be afraid. When I go there, they shoot me with which gun. I told them, I have come, take out your witch gun. It will never enter me. I am not afraid of that. We need people who can go forward with God. Pastor, God is in front of us. Nobody will shoot us. And if it comes, it will not enter. This is what it is. Then the other thing is looking at our liquidity. It is just for now, but on the long run, we are going to suffer. We are going to suffer. We need to change our attitude in giving. Other than that, we cannot just rely on what is coming in when even the few are not giving faithfully. Those are the concepts we need to change. And here I said again, the Treasury should be proactive. How can we as pastors know that? The main source of finance is tithe and offering. Whereas you look at record, for a whole year no pastor had done evangelistic campaign. Where are members coming? We need to do something for members to come in. And if they don't do, we hold them to account. So it is not on pastors alone, but when we set the pace, the laity will follow. This is how it works. I will stop here, because the other ones will be tough.
We beg you, please, and you want to observe the time. We can't take the whole time.
Let us count the hands.
Yeah, let's count the hands.
It's almost 12 o'clock,
Yeah.
and I want to.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, please, you are giving just 1 minute, please. 1 minute. We're projecting the time. Don't project the time. 1 minute, please. When you're 1 minute over, we take the mic from you, please. We start from right here.
Thank you very much, sir. Mine is very, very brief. First of all, I want to commend the Treasury team, especially the accountants or the chief accountants stepping in the shoes of the Treasury. According to me or to my own finding, the mission is progressing in the area of finances. When you do comparison, for me, they are progressive. We hope and pray that we continue in that pace, growing more than what we have done. My question here is, why is 65% to out of our income? When she was explaining, we have 65% to why? It is there.
Well, we all have 65% of our debt.
Oh, that's it?
But I thought you were giving ahead of the plot. Every time you say, well, have 65% of the account. But then you are saying, and why will you be complaining? All right, 2 minutes, please.
So first of all, the question I have, first of all, I want to again commend the treasurer for compiling this report. I think it is a good report. I want to ask about the notes on the tithe income. Of course, I generally notice the notes are absent. Several of the notes are absent, meaning the detailed explanations about these ledger balances. What we have here are ledger balances, but the notes, some of them are not available. There are a few, but most of them are not there. So the notes on the tithe income especially, I think is very important. For example, if we have a schedule that tells us what is the contribution, just probably by percentage of tithe income from the regions, say Northeast, South, East, Freetown, and etc. I think it's very important. So you don't just see, oh, we are doing well, but where is the wealth coming from, and which areas you need to emphasize or focus in terms of revenue generation or tithe progress. And it will tell a lot. So I think it's very important for a meeting like this, at least, that the tithe notes should be available. Yeah? And the breakdown of that. Secondly, just a moment. There is something on the liquidity calculation. The cash and cash equivalent, if you check it, I don't think it is matching. You have 1.something billion, but then the actual cash on the balance, ledger balance, is 130. Is this agency fund? So what is this agency fund? Is this a cash money? Because
Yeah.
So, please, no, this has to be, I want to understand.
The issue is that he is a professional.
Yes.
And he's asking professional questions. What we do is this. When we are giving financial statement in the general public, not all of us understand those things. That's why in the executive committee, we bring in professionals. It is at the executive committee that they will scrutinize the details, go to the notes and the schedules to compare and to contrast. If you want to bring everything here, we are closing at 3 days. So we are bringing reports to the general public, we summarize it, and we leave the details to the executive committee to look at and clear. That's why we need a strong executive committee to control administration and expenditure. So please bear with us. We cannot bring all the details, the schedules and the notes here, because most people don't understand and it should take us a long way.
Okay, it's all right. I want to make sure.
I understand you.
So I want to beg a question, an opportunity. Yeah. I would like to meet with the finance team of the committee to really understand something.
It's okay.
I like my elder said, I understand where he's coming from, but you know, in financial reporting, if you want to bring up like in this kind of meeting, we will not leave from here because we'll be discussing details, you know, step by step, page by page, and we'll not leave from here. All right. All right. Noted. If you don't want to discuss it, let it be on paper. Noted.
No, it's on paper. I mean, it's on paper, so we cannot present that paper here for details. But as a committee, we look at the details.
You should share that paper.
No, madam, we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't give it out. It doesn't go out. According to policies, we don't say this is out.
Why should it be a secret?
It's not a secret. Who does say committee for that? It's not a secret. Please, bear with us. This is not the first time that we do this. We are going to several institutions. Here for the GC, because they don't give the details. We are left with the experts are there, they will take care of it. And in our records, financial issues don't go outside beyond the committee. Please, I beg you. We are not trying to show the things to anybody. We are trying to hide.
Yes, I want to join others to thank the accountant for her presentation. I have two issues here, but I think the one that she has addressed it already. So, from what I know from in finance, when they say financial statement, it captures everything, receivable and or maybe the income, what have you. So, like the president was saying that there are some monies coming from SLA or what have you, and these are not captured from the financial statement. It has to, it's a must. And secondly, I'm coming, please. And secondly, I want to advise here, by 2023, it is possible for us to do a projection what is required by the mission to spend. Otherwise, if there are some financial shock, it will be disastrous. Thank you.
All right, we'll take note of that. That gave the opportunity to act.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you, Madam Treasury. The issue I wanted to raise is concerning the tithe. Now, if we are going to be moving forward, tithing is one of the biggest opportunity we have for church growth. So I know for the financial statement, probably this is how it's been done, but I will recommend for an addendum for us to have a breakdown of tithe in districts, so we see the performance. That will be a motivating factor for districts, for each district to know whether they are raising enough tithe or whether they are supporting their district. Because as it is now, we're just having the total. We don't know who does what, who is the biggest in tithing and all of that. It is possible that other districts are supporting more and others are just relaxing. So I will recommend for the future that we have those addendum. And lastly, on the land, we have an opportunity to make use of the highest judiciary justice in Sierra Leone. We have Elder Valicious Justice Thomas. So why can't we use him to get our land back? Because it's very, very important. And Justice Valicious Thomas.
All of your points are well taken note of. We'll keep it, take note of it.
I just want to commend the reporter on the area of operations on travel expenses. Saying 16,421,000, I think that's a good management. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, please, I just believe that the finance office will take cognizance of what we are seeing. Some of us are not financially inclined, but at least we have some ideas. All these details we are asking because they are not in the report where they are supposed to be. So please, in the next time, this report, we want to see those details. Even if TASA is bringing money to Sierra Leone Mission. Let's see the money stated there and the purpose for which that money is being used. Otherwise, it is hidden. Probably I'm from the provinces. If I had not come to this morning, this meeting, I wouldn't have known that TASA is contributing to the Sierra Leone Mission. Thank you.
Thank you. But when you look at page 2 of your financial, you see where you have other income. Now 144 billion is inclusive. And I love what my brother said. That's why these reports are taken to the committee to look at the details, because the details are discussed there. Because there's nothing here that should be hidden. You are entitled to knowing what is in there. So all of your comments will take note of that. Are you done? Yeah. Okay. Who next? Yes. All right. Yes, somebody's here, please. Yeah. Please, let's make it fast.
I hope I'm the last person to okay. I'm representing TASA, and I'm so happy that I came in and my colleague is here, Pastor Roma. We want to say thank you very much for recognizing TASA, and we are happy on what we are doing for the TASA. And to be frank, Pastor Sami has done very well. All the TASA funds have been coming to the conference through the Treasury and Pastor Sami. And up to date, they have given us full report. Everything that is happening here. I know people have been questioning where is this, where is that, but we know what is happening, and we have all reports here. And even recently, when you went to the USA campaign for this conference, we said, you know, we are not giving any cash, but we are giving material support, what you need. And he said, we want to equip the late men. And so he suggested the power bank, you know, which the people can use to evangelize, use it to charge their phones, use it to supply light. So we did our best. It cost us almost like $4,000, but we didn't mind that. So that was great, and he has accounted for that. We have all seen what has happened here. But with the Treasury report, my question is, when we talk about funds to support the mission, let us look at the source of the funds. All the reports have been focusing on the Treasury Department here at the head office. How have they spent our money? How much is there? But let us look at where is the money coming from. You see, I'm talking about the grassroots, the local churches, the districts. From my observation, there has not been any emphasis on how to go to those grassroots places and then generate funds, encourage them, motivate them, and help them to raise the funds. And up to date, I've been talking with people and I've been saying, we've been getting some understanding that treasurers are not reaching those areas, like in the remote areas. So we have to look at treasurers in the churches. Sometimes they go 1 month and then the second one they don't again, they don't get anything. But as the reports come in, yes or no, or do we have accountability system? Do we have people from the mission head for the treasury department coming down to the local churches to do some auditing? Because sometimes when people do auditing, I mean, they look at churches or they look at treasurers, they are a little bit shaken and they take things serious. It could be that we still have 20% of all these funds sitting there somewhere when you look at churches. Am I right? It could be that, but we don't know, and the churches are not even aware. So is the treasurer or the treasury department visiting the local churches, visiting the districts, or doing anything to run stewardship seminars, stewardship motivation, things like that? All these ones will help to motivate more money or more funds to run the conference or the mission. So that is, I'm pointing at the grassroots. Let us pay more attention to the grassroots, to the churches, to the district, to the local churches, not just at the conference level here, so how much do we have here? But there's money sitting there. God is blessing our people, but they have the willing people to go pray for them, motivate them, and get it out of them. And they are willing to give, like the song was saying. People are willing to give. God bless.
Amen. I thought you would give a hand of applause for that commendation, because you know, when you spend your money and you have an agent attesting to that you spend it properly, that means it's a plus. Okay, and I think that's what we continue to say to you. The report we have here, this report, we've gone through it, but for the sake of some of the people who want the details, we see what we can do. And that's what we say to you, we take note of all of your comments. All of the comments are important, and we take special note of them. I think he's the last speaker now, after here then. Sorry.
Yeah, bonjour tout le monde. I want to thank our sister for this report, Treasury report. I'm really touched by the case of Waterloo. As Pastor Sandy explained, so how to solve that, how to go about it. I would suggest that here, you set the committee, which will really be set apart to try to solve this problem. So my humble suggestion is that you set the committee, special people, lawyers, and accountants, all those influential people to be in that committee to go to that problem. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take that. This is the last one. After then, we'll make a motion.
Before saying what I wanted to say for myself, I just want to allude to the fact that there is a Sierra Leone Mission Land or Property Committee, of which I'm a member, and Justice Valicious Thomas is also a member. Pardon? I did not give you that name. It's the name that came from the administration. That it was a Sierra Leone Mission Property Committee, which will now become a conference committee. And like I said, that was not why I stood up, but since you said it, on one occasion I had a privileged conversation with the president, and I asked him a pointed question. Conservatively, how much do you expect to get from the proceeds of the property at Waterloo? And his conservative estimate was 100 million a year, which is why I think they've moved to the point of having an estate officer to help bring in that money, because that's a pot of gold that the conference should really think about and strategize how the church can benefit from that. The reason why I stood up was because, according to the presentation, we were, and the presenter said, this shows we are doing well, when she projected a slide that suggested how much income we got and how much the expenditure was. And my elder here was saying, if we made that much and we only spent this much, why didn't we give some bonus to the pastors? The reason why the expenditure was that low is because there was conscious expense suppression. Austerity, which is not the most positive thing anyway. And so I don't want us to leave this room congratulating ourselves that we have done very well. We have given 1.7 billion. There was a slide that showed the income and the expenditure. Which one was that? No, those are two separate years.
We're coming. Okay, this one.
Okay, so the income for 2022 was 1.8 billion, correct?
Yes,
and the expenditure was 1.5.
Yes.
And you might think that's business is doing well. But if you consider the fact that our president, and sorry I'm going to lay you bare here, walks home with not more than 3 million euros cash as remuneration after an entire month of service, it should make us go home rather congratulating ourselves that we gave so much but they spent so less, but for us to go home and challenge ourselves to give more. if you divide 1.8 billion, and I know that is not all time, if you divide that by, let's say, 10,000 members, it works out at 15,000 euros a month of giving. And which speaks to the point that Dr. Cummings was saying, maybe if we disaggregated the income by region and district, people who are lagging behind would see reason to give more rather than leave this session saying the church is okay. We made 1.8, they spent 1.5. So I think we need to, and sorry for putting you on the spot, Pastor Chair, but some of us in this room know how much we make. The very first time I got a sense of how much pastors make was when I was working in Liberia, and the union secretary at that time gave me an indication of how much pastors make, even when they are expatriates in another country. So us, the lay members, who have to contribute these tithes and offerings, we need to do more. This is a state of emergency. We cannot go to a conference and expect our pastors to work 100% on the job. And by the way, the laity will be presenting suggestions as to how to get our pastors performing at par. We are going to be suggesting key performance indicators for our pastors, failing which they too will be held accountable. But I think we need to increase our giving so that our pastors can be paid living wages. Thank you very much.
Amen. I love that. That's a very significant point. We should not leave from here and say, yeah, we are doing well, and so we're not support. Let us be conscious of the fact that we have moved to a conference data, and so we need to support. If we have nothing else, departmental report to ministerial. Yes. Yes. Okay. Because of this. No. Wait. Consultation. They load out. Yes. Please let's get seated.
Hello? Hello? Please, no movement again. No movement again. On behalf of our esteemed union officers, I take this unique opportunity to welcome our beloved leaders or leader from the West Central Africa Division, Pastor James Kebedu, to this special constituency of the Sierra Leone Conference. We appreciate your participation and thank you for accepting our invitation. Declaration. Our division delegates, Pastor James Kebedu, my fellow officers, Pastor John Odessa, and Elder Joseph Kilva, and departmental directors from WAHO, officers of the Sierra Leone Mission, our esteemed invitees, our distinguished delegates, the beloved pastors here present and members of the Executive Committee. I thank you all for attending the special constituency session of the Sierra Leone Mission. Since we have received the various reports from the conference presidents, mission presidents, the executive secretary and the treasurer, and departmental directors, the constitutional term of all elected positions has been declared vacant, and as such, it is incumbent upon the union to fill these vacancies with new officers through elections. My dear people, we want to thank the mission officers for their good job. We are now ascending to another era. I think this area is quite different from the mission. The mission is a living. And we have crawled for a long period of time. And today we can run. And because we can run, we are moving from mission to conference. So pray that God bless you, God will guide you, and God will be with us. So Pastor Sandy, Pastor Numa, and Mrs. Sister Wood in place of Brother Abbas, want to thank you. All departmental directors, we say thank you. We'll talk more on Sabbath, but for now, Pastor Promise in charge. Amen? 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 So, in the shortest possible time, we'll start the ball rolling. We can still take reports, the remaining reports, but not with the president anymore. The union will take over. So we thank you all. Pray that God bless you. The executive committee, you supported us. So this is your last day. Working with Pastor Sandy. The next time, if you are lucky, you'll be under a new dispensation. But for this time, it's over. Pray that God bless you. Pray for us. It will not be easy. But pray God will direct us. Before we end by tomorrow, we'll be able to land safely. Amen? We'll be able to land safely. By Saturday, it will be a different day. We'll celebrate with the ordained to be or to be ordained pastors. So pray that God bless you all, guide you, who gets everything new. New pastor, new president, new secretary, new treasurer, new departmental directors, a new executive committee member. That's why we are here. So by Saturday, finish that. Then Sunday, inauguration. Amen? Amen. So be praying for us. It's not time for politicking. We need the divine intervention from them. Not politicking. It will not help you. Be praying for us. And God will lead us to bring the right set of people that will take this conference to a higher height. The foundation has been laid. We are not going down again. We are going up. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So can all rise? Pastor Moiba, come. I don't know whether the lunch is, if the lunch is not yet ready. My secretary says just past 12. After this warming up, we pray. If you are a delegate, please stay. A delegate, please stay. Others, okay, sorry. After this warming up, every one of us will sit down. They want to take a constitution so that you see the tool that the new conference will be working with. You look at it, you critique it, you do what you want to do. But we know after today, that will be the tool for the conference. So that's all.
Position. To the right, position. To the left, position. Mind you, my left is not your left. You have to take your left. Position. To the right, position. To the left, position. To the in front, position. Backward, position. All side, position.
Okay, let's do it again. Everybody sit down. When you hear stand up and jump for posy, are you watching me? Stand up and jump for position. So you just want to be in this position until I tell you what to do. Are you getting it? Okay, ready? Stand up and jump for position. Keep jumping, jump for position. I say jump for position. Okay, so your left position. To your right position. Good. I think you get it. Position. Just be in motion. Position. To your right position. To your left position. Yeah. Position. I can see everybody. Position. You want to transform position. Whatever back position. Try it all over. Position. Thank you. All right. We are going to take our time and read through this document, and once voted, becomes the Constitution of the Sierra Leone conference. So please, no movement now, paying attention.
And before that,
Yeah.
let us be aware that it is an adoption of the conference status, an adoption of a conference status constitution and bylaws. It is a document prepared by the General Conference of SDA Adventist. For every conference, we are meeting, now we are ready for meeting to conference. So we are doing away with the mission, constitution and bylaws. We are now adopting the conference status, constitution and bylaws. It's a document prepared, but there are only certain places we feel certain things to suit our local things. That's where we want you to be aggressive. After that, we vote to adopt, not we vote to amend. We vote to adopt it as appropriate. That's what we're going to use to write. Yes? Please, that's what we are projecting. You can't give. Huh? They read it. So
your property.
Hello. Please. Sierra Leone of the Constitution. How many of them are covered of the Sierra Leone Constitution? Hello. How many of them are Sierra Leone Constitution? Only few. So after we finish, at the end of the day, we have it. We can't give everybody a constitution. We can give it to you. What do you give to you? In fact, we are asking more than we can provide. We are asking more than we can. You see, that's our system, please. Please, maybe you don't understand the system. This is the first place we are doing something. We are done over and over. The constitution and bylaws are in the policy book. Yesterday we were looking through it with Thomas. We are in the policy book. We have only extracted some to let you know what it entails. And the officers and the team will have this constitution in their hands to operate. They will go back in. This is the policy book. We have it in there. And then we have just extracted the bylaw and constitution from it. So if you don't want to read through to give you some kind of information, you go and read what you have. But to give you hard copies, it's difficult to
Hello? This book is not for church members. This book is for workers. That's why you see it says working policy. Your own book is church manual. So go and read it. This is for me. All the good and the bad in the ministry is here for me. For the church policy, the church manual, you can play with it. That is for you. So this one, the Bible is for all of us. My ministerial manual is for me. So we can't send this to none. It's for the office, please. So my dear people, we want to look at the Constitution. The Executive Secretary of the Union, Pastor Besa, will take it line by line. We will not rush with it. We will take it line by line. At the end of the day, we vote to adopt it as the tool, the working tool for this conference. So, Pastor, I want to welcome you.
By the Union Secretary. There is no room for discussion. Is there room for discussion or amendment?
No, if you don't understand the question, you can explain it.
Okay, there is room for explanation.
Yes.
And that explanation might lead to some adjustment.
No problem. Let's go ahead. Let's finish.
privileged to get a copy. I was privileged to get a copy when I was a member of the Mission Executive Committee. And that is where I'm reading from. I noticed that there are certain sections in that sample constitution which are in bold print, which are in light print. And I understood the opening passage saying the bold print cannot be amended, it cannot be changed. But the light print can be reviewed. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. When you look at Article 3 of the sample constitution, it starts off by saying, Section 1, the delegates at any constituency meeting of this conference shall be regular delegates and delegates at large. And then when it goes to B3 under delegates at large, it says all employees holding credentials or ministerial licenses issued by the conference. And then when it goes to 5, it talks about the possibility of getting invitees. And you will see that it says such other persons as may be recommended by the executive committee and accepted by the delegates. So the problem I have is, I thought when I read this sample, there are certain sections of it which are not in bold print, which can be reviewed. So that when we adopt the final constitution and bylaws, it will include all those provisions that this body has accepted. I did not understand it to mean that as soon as we see it on the board there, we have to adopt everything. So please, I want to be corrected.
That's why we are talking of adopting, because it is the entire work that is using the constitution. Only that there are portions we need to fill in to suit or look at. Those portions we will look at it. If that's why we're going to read through, and we'll make specific mention of those areas that we are inserting, that if we want to change or add, we do that. But as the text in that thing contains, if we want to make any adjustment, we cannot sit here and change it. We need to write through the system to the general conference to be voted at the general conference year end or session. So we don't normally change things, but we want to change it. No, it goes through a process. That's what it is. We want to change something, we will make a motion here, we'll write it and send it to the union. The union will send it to the division, you can send it to the GC, and they will send it to the bylaw and constitutional committee. And they will look at it. And if they do it, they don't change it here. You can't change it here. But no, it's a process. It's a process. But it needs to go through the process. That's what it's done. So this is how it works. The only thing we can change is when we are filling in certain things, we decide what we want and put it there. But as the letter and the spirit of this can only be altered by the general office.
Thank you very much. Kindly listen as we go. The Constitution of the Sierra Leone Conference SLC. Okay, cameraman, can you please shift? Put your stand up with. Alright. Of Seventh-day Adventist. Article 1. Name. The name of this organization shall be known as the Sierra Leone Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, herein referred to as the conference. Article 2. Purpose. The purpose of this conference is to call all people within its territory to become disciples of Jesus Christ, facilitate the proclamation of the everlasting gospel in the context of the three angels' messages of Revelation 14:6-12, leading them to accept Jesus as personal Savior and to unite with His church and nurturing them in preparation for His soon return. Article 3. Relationships. The Sierra Leone Conference, SLC, of Seventh-day Adventists is a member of the West Africa Union Mission, WAUM, W-A-U-M, of Seventh-day Adventists, and is located in the territory of the West Central Africa Division, that's WAD, of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, or World Church Organization, and all purposes, policies, and procedures of this conference shall be in harmony with the working policies and procedures of the division and the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. This conference shall pursue the mission of the church in harmony with the fundamental beliefs, programs, and initiatives adopted and approved by the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists in its quinquennial sessions. Article 4. Territory. The territory of this conference shall consist of the entire country of Sierra Leone, comprising of 14 political districts. Okay, we pause.
In this article, you will see that we said, there won't be the one territory. The territory. We supply consists of the entire country of Sierra Leone, comprising of 14 political districts have been supplied. The territory, we supply the territory. So if we think the territory is wrong, we can amend it. That's how that. Go ahead.
All right. So just sit down. Article 5. Membership. The membership of this conference shall consist of such churches as have been or shall be properly organized in any part of the geographic territory under its jurisdiction and formally approved for membership by vote of the delegates at any regular or special constituency meeting. Article 6. Bylaws. The members of this conference acting in and through a conference constituency meeting may enact and or repeal them, and such bylaws may embrace any provision not inconsistent with the Constitution or with the current local conference model constitution and bylaws approved by the Executive Committee of the General Conference of Sventh-day Adventists. Article 7. Dissolution and disposition of assets. This conference may be dissolved only by a two-thirds majority vote of the delegates present and voting at any constituency meeting. In the event of the dissolution of this conference, and unless otherwise required by local law, all assets remaining after all claims have been satisfied shall be transferred to a local entity authorized, transferred to a legal entity authorized by the West Central Africa Division 1 of the General Conference of Sventh-day Adventists. Article 8, Amendments. This Constitution shall not be amended except to conform to the model local conference constitution when it is amended by action of the General Conference Executive Committee at an annual council. This conference shall amend its constitution from time to time at regularly called constituency meetings. Any such change to conform to the model local conference constitution. The conference committee may recommend to the General Conference through the West Africa Union Mission, WAHO, and the West Central Africa Division of the General Conference of Sventh-day Adventists amendments to the local or to the model constitution.
Hold on. Based on what I was explaining, if you want to do any amendment, this is the procedure you follow Article 3 amendment. You have to make a recommendation to the Union and to the West Africa Division and to the General Conference Executive Committee or Intermediate Committee to make amendment. This is enshrined in the Constitution.
Bylaws of the Sierra Leone Conference SLC of Sventh-day Adventists, Article 1, Principal Officer. The Principal Office for the transaction of the business of the Sierra Leone Conference SLC is fixed and located at 24 Savage Street, Brookfields, Freetown, Sierra Leone. The Executive Committee may, in an emergency, change the location of the Principal Office on a temporary basis.
The address was supplied by us. If it is wrong, you want to change it, the Executive Committee can change it. That's only where we can go.
Article 2, Constituency Meetings. Section 1, Regular Meeting. This conference shall hold a regular quinquennial constituency meeting at such time and place as the Executive Committee of the conference shall designate. In the event that the Executive Committee fails to call a regular constituency meeting within the quinquennial period, the West Africa Union Executive Committee may give notice for such a meeting and designate the time and place. Notice of the time and place of the meeting of the delegates representing the members shall be given by a notice printed in the official publication of the West Africa Union Mission WAHUM at least 4 weeks before the date of the session, or B, a method approved by the Sierra Leone Conference SLC Executive Committee. C, a method approved by the Union Executive Committee in the event of inaction or non-compliance by the Sierra Leone Conference Executive Committee. Section 2, special meeting. A, the Executive Committee of this conference shall call a special constituency meeting at a time and place it deems proper when 1. It is voted by the Executive Committee in consultation with West Africa Union Mission WAHUM. 2. It is voted by the delegates at any constituency meeting, or 3. It is requested by 2/3, 66% of the churches of the conference through their church boards, or 4. It is voted by the Union Committee, Division Committee, or General Conference Committee. B. The Union Committee or the Division Committee may call a special constituency of the conference. C. The agenda for the special constituency meeting shall be included in the notice of the meeting. D. The time and place of the special constituency meeting shall be given in the same manner as for regular scheduled constituency meeting. Section 3. Chair and Secretary for constituency meeting. The President of this conference shall serve as chair, and the Secretary of this conference shall serve as secretary for constituency meetings of the conference. The President may designate other individuals or to assist in chair duties from time to time. In the event that the President's office is vacant, or that the President is unavailable to serve as chair, the constituency meeting may call, may be called to order by the ranking union officer present. The first item of business shall be the election of a pro tem selected from the delegates present at the meeting. When the election of a president has been completed, the new or re-elected president, if present at the constituency meeting, shall replace the chair pro tem. In similar manner, arrangements may be made for a secretary pro tem if the secretary's office is vacant or the secretary is unavailable to serve in the constituency meeting. When the election of a secretary has been completed, the new or re-elected secretary, if present at the constituency meeting, shall replace the secretary pro tem. A person who is not re-elected at a constituency meeting does not thereby lose delegate status at the current constituency meeting. Section 4. Regular meeting business. The business of the regular constituency meeting shall include the election and appointment of personnel for various positions, the receipt of reports from the President, Secretary, and Treasurer, Chief Financial Officer, departmental directors, and the auditor. The constituency shall endorse, approve, develop plans for the conduct of the work as are desirable and in harmony with the policies of the West Central Africa Division. Section 5. Quorum. At least 2/3, that's 66% of the delegates authorized herein. After under Section 1A of Article 3 must be present at any regular or special their office on until the next regular meeting of the conference constituency, unless they resign or are removed from office for cause by the executive committee, a special constituency meeting or meeting. The election and appointment of departmental directors, associate departmental directors, associate secretaries, or associate treasurers, if not determined by the delegates at the conference constituency meeting, shall be referred to the executive committee for appointment. B. Term of office. Persons elected at the constituency meeting and those appointed by the executive committee normally serve until the next regular constituency meeting. However, their period of service may be shorter due to resignation, voluntary retirement, retirement age situations where a mandatory retirement age policy is in effect, or removal from office for cause by the executive committee or a special constituency meeting. Article 3, representation, section 1. The delegates at any constituency meeting of this conference shall be regular delegates and delegates at large. A. Regular delegates. All delegates duly accredited by any one of the organized churches of the conference. Each church shall be entitled to one delegate for the organization and one additional delegate for each 500 members or major fraction thereof, and who holds membership in the local church which accredits them. Such delegates shall be chosen by the business meeting of the respective local church. B. Delegates at large. 1. All members of the executive committee of the Sierra Leone Conference. 2. All members of the executive committee of the West Africa Union Mission who may be present at any constituency meeting of the conference. 3. All employees holding credential or ministerial license issued by the conference. 4. Members of the division executive committee who may be present at any constituency meeting of the conference. The number of such delegates representing the division shall not exceed 10% of the total number of delegates otherwise provided for. 5. Such other persons as may be recommended by the executive committee and accepted by the delegates in session. The number of such delegates shall not exceed 10% of the total number of regular delegates provided herein above.
Hold on. This article goes on. This article is giving us a clear distinction of those of us here in this hall. We are in two groups. Delegates who were appointed or elected by their local churches to represent them. They are the regular delegates. Apart from those elected, all of us from the conference executive committee to union division and to invitees and all affected, we are delegates at large. That's go on, we shall see more.
Section 2. all delegates appointed to represent the members of this conference at any constituency meeting shall be members in regular standing of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
This article is defining who can represent the church members. Members who are in what? Regular and good standing of the church.
Article 4, Constituency Meeting Committees. Prior to each conference constituency meeting, the Executive Committee shall provide for such temporary committee as may be necessary to conduct the preliminary work for the session. Committees that facilitate the business of the session include Section 1, the Organizing Committee. A. The Organizing Committee shall be constituted as follows. Each church represented at the constituency meeting shall choose or empower its delegation to choose one member plus one additional member for each 500 members or a major fraction thereof. In addition, the at-large delegates to the constituency meeting shall select one or two persons from the at-large group to serve on the organizing committee. B. Members of the organizing committee shall be chosen at a prior to the constituency meeting. Thank you. At or prior to the constituency meeting. C. If the organizing committee is to meet prior to the constituency meeting, the time and place of the meeting shall be given in the official notice of the meeting. D. The chairperson of the organizing committee shall be the president of the West Africa Union Mission or his designee. E. The organizing committee shall nominate and the constituency shall elect 1. A nominating committee. 2. A constitution and bylaws committee. 3. Other committees as may be necessary. 4. Credential and license committee. Section 2. Nominating committee. The nominating committee shall consist of at least 15 and not more than 17 members, including the president of the West Africa Union Mission or his designee, who shall serve as the chairperson. The membership of the committee shall be balanced as nearly as possible between denominational workers and laypersons representing various segments of the work and territories of the conference.
Hold on. We supply a number 15 and not more than 17. We supply those figures. Those we can change if we wish. That the quotation should be more than 15 or more than 17 we can change. But not the letters, but the figures that we talk about.
A. Those chosen as members of the nominating committee must be duly appointed delegates in attendance at the constituency meeting. B. Persons holding elected office as outlined in Article 2, Section 10 in the current term shall not be eligible to serve on the nominating committee. Section 3, Standing Constitution and Bylaws Committee. The Standing Constitution and Bylaws Committee shall include as officers of an officer of the Sierra Leone Conference, SLC, and shall be chaired by the Secretary of the local conference or his or her designee. This committee shall function between the regular scheduled constituency meetings and shall submit its reports and detailed recommendations through the conference executive committee to the next regular constituency meeting. Section 4, voting. The election of officers and the voting on all matters of business shall be by verbal vote unless otherwise determined by the major vote or majority vote of the delegates present. Article 5, Executive Committee. Section 1, Membership. The Executive Committee of the Sierra Leone Conference shall be elected at its regular scheduled constituency meeting and shall consist of not more than 70 members. The President, Secretary, Treasurer, and Vice President shall be members ex officio of the Executive Committee. The membership of the committee may include at least one departmental director and one institutional representative, with the remaining membership balanced as nearly as possible between lay persons and pastors or other denominational employees from various sections of the conference.
Hold on. We supplied the number 17. That the committee shall be 17 members. If we want it to be higher, we can change. If we want it to be lower, we can change. That's what we can do in this article.
Next, officers of the West Africa Union Mission, of the West Central Africa Division, and of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists are members ex officio of the local conference executive committee. However, their membership shall be in addition to the number detailed above. Any such officer exercising their voting rights at any one meeting shall not make up more than 10% of the committee membership present. Section 2, Delegated Authority. The executive committee of this conference, unless replaced at a special constituency meeting or session, is delegated the authority to act on behalf of the constituent between regular sections, including the authority to elect or remove for cause officers, directors of departments and services, board and committee members whose election or appointment is as a result of a constituency meeting or executive committee meeting action, and to fill for the remaining portion of the term any vacancies thus created. The removal of those names under Article 4 or 6, Section 1, shall require the affirmative vote of 2/3 of those voting at an executive committee meeting where a majority of members is present. Section 3, Administrative Authority. The executive committee shall have full administrative authority. A, to fill for the current term any vacancies that may occur by death, resignation, or otherwise in its boards, committees, departments, or in offices which have been filled by conference elections. If a new president is to be elected, the president of the West Africa Union Mission or his designee shall serve as chairperson of the executive committee. B. To appoint committees such as an administrative committee with their terms of reference. C. To employ ministers, secretaries, teachers, and other persons as deemed necessary for the work of the conference. D. To grant and withdraw credentials and licenses. The withdrawal of credentials or the removal of those named under Article 5, Section 1 of those bylaws shall require the consent of 2/3 of the members of the executive committee. Section 4, regular meetings. The executive may schedule regular meetings at such times and places as it may select. Section 5, special meetings. Special meetings of the executive committees or committee may be called at any time or place by the president or in his absence by the secretary. A special meeting shall also be called by the secretary in response to the written request of the majority of the members of the executive committee. Section 6. Attendance at meetings. Where allowed by local law, executive committee members may participate in meetings by means of an electronic conference or similar communication by which all persons participating can hear other at the same time, and participation by such means shall constitute presence in person at such a meeting. Section 7. Notice of meeting. Notice as to time and place and any other requirements under the bylaws. Under these bylaws shall be provided to all members in a reasonable manner, at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, if the meeting is to take place by electronic conference or similar communications, or at least 96 hours if the meeting is to take place in person. Section 6. Quorum. 7 members of the executive committee shall constitute a quorum. Article 6. Officers. Section 1. Executive officers. The executive officers of this conference shall be a president, a secretary, and a treasurer. The secretary and treasurer may be one individual known as secretary-treasurer. It is the duty of these officers in consultation with one another to carry forward the work according to plans, policies, and programs shall be in harmony with the doctrines and actions adopted and approved by the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists in its Quinquennial section. A. President. The President, who shall be an ordained minister of experience, is the first officer and shall report to the Executive Committee of the Conference in consultation with the Secretary and the Treasurer, Chief Financial Officer. He shall act as Chairman of the Constituency Meeting and the Executive Committee and serve in the general interest of the Syrian Conference as the Constituency and the Executive Committee shall determine. In his leadership, he shall adhere to the policies of the West Africa Union Mission Committee and in close counsel with the Union officer. B. Secretary. The Secretary associated with the President as an officer, executive officer, shall serve under the direction of the Executive Committee.
Oh, we are almost done, so.
Yes, it is.
Alright, we want to begin. Resume. Can we resume? B. The Secretary. The Secretary associated with the President as an executive officer shall serve under the direction of the Executive Committee and shall act as Vice Chairman of the Executive Committee. The Secretary shall report to the Executive Committee of the Conference after consultation with the President. It shall be the duty of the Secretary to keep the minutes of the Conference constituency meetings and of the Executive Committee meetings and of the Executive Committee meetings to furnish copies of these meetings to all members of the Executive Committee and to the officers of the West Africa Union Mission. The Secretary shall also be responsible for providing information as any may be requested by the President or by the Executive Committee, and shall perform such other duties as usually pertain to the office. C. Treasurer, Chief Financial Officer. The Treasurer, CFO, Chief Financial Officer, associated with the President as an Executive Committee Officer, shall serve under the direction of the Executive Committee. The Treasurer, Chief Financial Officer, shall report to the Executive Committee of the Conference after consultation with the President. The Treasurer shall be responsible for providing financial leadership to the organization, which will include but shall not be limited to reserving, safeguarding, and disbursing all funds in harmony with the actions of the Executive Committee for remitting all required funds to the Union, Division, General Conference in harmony with the Division working policy, and for providing financial information to the President and to the Executive Committee. The Treasurer, CFO, shall also be responsible for furnishing copies of the financial statement to the West Africa Union Mission officers. Section 2. Other officers. Other individuals may serve as officers of the local conference, such as Vice Presidents, Associate Secretaries, and Associate Treasurers. Article 7. Directors of Departments, Associations, Services. Section 1. Advisory Rule. The directors of Departments, Associations, Services of this conference shall work under the direction of the Executive Committee of the conference and the President, and shall serve in an advisory relationship to the field. Section 2. Departments, Services Structure. Conference departments, services shall be organized in harmony with the departments, services structure of the General Conference, but shall not necessarily duplicate the department services in the Union, Division, or General Conference. Article 8. Other organizations. Section 1. unincorporated organizations. The Sierra Leone Conference may carry on its ministry through unincorporated subsidiary organizations. Constituencies meetings of such organizations shall be held in conjunction with the regular scheduled constituency meeting of the conference. Section 2, corporations. The Sierra Leone Conference may form corporate bodies provided it obtains prior approval of the West Central Africa Division. Membership meetings and elections of board of directors shall be held as provided by articles and bylaws of the corporations in harmony with applicable laws. Article 9, finances. Section 1, tithe and offerings. The church funds managed by this conference shall consist of such tithes, including direct tithe, as it shall be assigned by policy and as received from within its territory, and such gifts, legacies, bequests, appropriations, reverted funds, and other donations as may be made to it. Section 2, policies. The portion of the tithe which is reserved for this conference as specified by policy, and all other funds shall be used in harmony with the financial policies of the West Central Africa Division of the General Conference of Sventh-day Adventists. And in the case of donations, their use shall be in harmony with the specification of donor and in compliance with government regulations. Tithe is shared with the union and division on fixed percentage as set by the annual council of the General Conference Executive Committee. Section 3, bank accounts. The funds of this conference shall be safeguarded in harmony with the financial policy of the West Central Africa Division of General Conference of Sventh-day Adventists. Monies shall be deposited in the name of the Sierra Leone Conference of Sventh-day Adventists in regular or special accounts in such bank or saving institution as the Executive Committee shall designate, and shall be withdrawn only by persons authorized by resolution of the Executive Committee. Section 4, financial statement. The Sierra Leone Conference shall prepare regular appropriate statements of income and fund balances, and shall be responsible for the filing of any financial information directly with the West Africa Union and the Division of the General Conference of Sventh-day Adventists, and to the extent required by law with any branch of local or national government. Article 10. Budget, salary, review, audit. Section 1, budget. The Sierra Leone Conference shall prepare an annual budget in harmony with the policies of the West Central Africa Division of General Conference of Sventh-day Adventists. Section 2, employee compensation and expenses review. The Executive Committee shall constitute an employee compensation review committee to review annually the salary and expense of all employees and set salary rates for the subsequent year. Section 3, independent audit. All accounting records of this conference shall be audited at least annually by an auditor designated by the General Conference Auditing Service, and the records of this conference or any of its subsidiaries, agencies, or institutions shall at all times be open to said auditor. Article 11, Indemnification, Section 1. To the extent permitted by law, this conference shall indemnify any person who was or is a party or is threatened to be made a part to any threatened, pending, or completed action, suit, or proceedings, whether civil, criminal, administrative, or investigative, because he or she is or was a member of the conference executive committee or an officer, employee, or agent of the conference against expenses including legal fees, judgments, fines, and amounts paid in settlements actually and reasonably incurred by him or her in connection with such actions, suits, or proceedings if he or she acted in good faith and in a manner he or she responsibly believed to be in or not opposed to the best interest of the conference, and with respect to any criminal action or proceedings, had no reasonable cause to believe his or her conduct was unlawful. Section 2. This right of indemnification shall be in addition to and not exclusive of all other rights to which such member of the executive committee or an officer or department director may be entitled. Note, this right of indemnification may be expanded or contracted as allowed under local law and as adopted by the Constituent. Article 13, Amendments. Amendments, refusion, and repeal. Bylaws of this conference, which are essential to the unity of the church worldwide and are designated in bold print, shall not or shall be amended or revised from time to time in order to comply with changes to the model local conference constitution and bylaws as voted by the General Conference Executive Committee in its annual meeting. Such amendment or revision shall be approved by 2/3 majority vote of the delegates present and voting at any duly called constitutive meeting of the local conference. Other sections of the bylaws may be amended, revised, or repealed in like manner, provided such changes are in harmony with the spirit of the model local conference constitution and bylaws, and have been processed through the conference executive committee. Notice of any proposed changes to the constitution and bylaws of this conference shall be given specifically in conjunction with the publication of notice for reception. The constituency of the conference executive committee may recommend to the General Conference through the West Africa Union Mission and the division of the General Conference of Sventh-day amendments to the model local conference constitution and bylaws. Thank you.
I thank Pastor Lisa.
I believe it was read clearly. I'm only feeling it for other people that can understand the white man's language. Or we'll be breaking it for you small. Now when you go, you not tell your people that Apoku grammar and no speak Ghana. So that is it, my dear people. This is a tool I will keep the conference for the next 5 years. After, yes sir.
Pastor Kuruma and Israel and the baby. Just order. I believe
Article 8 towards the ending part was sorry, I'm speaking Creole. I'm sorry. The ending of Article 8 says about corporations, and I thought something is said that the conference may engage in establishing corporations. So, and so that one came up, what do you mean? And it's not clear. Okay, so I'd like to explain that.
In the registration of the church in our local jurisdiction, maybe country by country, we register the church as a non-profit organization. That's one. So we register the church in Sierra Leone as a non-profit organization. Then there are two registrations. Then we can register the church as a corporate entity that can own property and do business. So we want two certificates. So we can use the incorporated certificate to operate business. So that your business will attract tax. It's not a non-profit organization. That's why the incorporation there. So the church can be registered as an incorporated organization in Sierra Leone under the local law, and that can allow us to do some business. That's the meaning of that incorporation.
Under the legal aspect, initially we were Sierra Leone nation. So now, if we are becoming a conference, do we have to re-register again because we are now conference, or we are still going as a nation?
Yeah, we don't need any re-registration of the church. The church has already been registered as the Sventh-day Adventist Church in Sierra Leone. That is it. It doesn't mean a conference or a union or a mission. It's a church. We have our nomenclatures changing our skin and our status, but it is actually the Sventh-day Adventist Church in Sierra Leone. But if we are not registered as a corporate entity, check your certificates. Then we can go and visit the church in Sierra Leone as the Sventh-day Adventist Church Incorporated in Sierra Leone. So you're going to go two certificates, one as a non-profit organization, one as a corporate entity that can do business and own property.
I think it's Article 6, 1A, officers of the conference, the president. So, of course, we have made it clear that we are not changing anything. But can you clarify? Please go to officers of the, I'm not sure what article now, but it's in the bylaws, 6. It says the president shall be ordained.
An ordained minister with experience.
Of experience. Please, sir, throw light to us the area of experience. Experience in what? How many numbers of years of experience? Just guide us on that matter.
Thank you. When we talk of experience, we cannot take somebody, we know what we are talking about. Somebody who has been in ministry
for maybe 3 or 4 years, you want to make a president. At least the person must have gone through the system, knows his left from the right, has held at least certain positions to know what it entails to be a leader. You can't just bring a novice to be a president because he has enormous things to play. Though years have not been put there, but as we know what experience means. Somebody who has been on the job for a long time and knows what it means to be this or that and that. That's what it means.
Just referring to the section, kind of article 9 of Statutory Amendment now, we talk about the corporate organizations or so. And through the Constitution, we didn't hear about other organizations like AGRA, AHS, and things like that. Where did these organizations come in our Constitution? And I'm also adding something that we have, now we have the Canadian Association, LLD, and we also have something called the Medical Missionaries or things like that. And these are all organizations in the country. Where do we put this in the Constitution?
Yeah, our church is very interesting. When we talk of policies and bylaws, we have what we call conventions. When we vote, we become policy of the church. So when we meet at the session, or when we meet at the executive committee, take a decision and vote it into action that does not conflict with the policies and the bylaws, they become policy for us. So we don't really have AGRA here because AGRA is, as I said, if we have this incorporated something and our lay team is able to come under something like ASI, they can operate under that with that license, with their own policies, which does not come directly to this one. This one is the general constitution and bylaws for the church of us to run. But we can make other laws and policies as we suit our local religion by operating other organizations and services.
Can I clarify that?
Yeah,
I've had some experience with some things like AGRA.
Yeah.
In some places there is conflict between AGRA International and AGRA Sierra Leone or AGRA Canada. And we also have conflict with AHS International and the Adventist Health System Sierra Leone. I'm not referring to Sierra Leone, just an example. There's so in the Constitution there, how do we separate these so there's no conflict, there's no fighting again between here and there?
Yeah, it is only maybe a misunderstanding. AGRA is a wing of the church. Health services, as I said, are not separate entities out of the church. Local conferences and local churches, they own the health facilities. And they are operated within. That's why we have their own policies and they are chaired by the church officers and other people. So we craft policies to manage those things outside our normal service operations. So before we set up maybe a facility, we put in place constitutions for them. For example, we have Heritage Fund, which operates within the church system. It was created by the church. It has only church members. We have a separate constitution and bylaws for Heritage Fund. We have Advent Press. Advent Press has its own policies and bylaws, which does not conflict with this. We look at our policy and then we craft constitution for those profit-making institutions to sue them. That's how we register as a corporate body to enable us to have those entities working for us. So there shouldn't be any conflict at all, but they have their own separate way of operating.
I want to thank you, sir, for the reading of the sample constitution, and we're about to adopt it. What I would like to know, what is the procedure if we discover that there is not sufficient clarity in Article 2 or 3 of the bill, in Article 3. The reason why I say we might need some clarity, and I would like to know what the procedure is, when you look at Article 3 of the bylaws, from start to finish, it uses different expressions. There is one time it talks about the delegates, another time it talks about the delegates at large, and there are other times when it distinguishes the regular delegates from the delegates at large. For my own little experience, I do not think it is sufficiently clear. If, for example, it is assigning a responsibility to the regular delegates, let it so say clearly. But if it uses the expression delegates, when in fact it means delegates, regular delegates and at large, it creates some confusion. So all I'm asking for at this stage, what is the procedure if that Article 3, and I would like all of us to read it in our quiet moments. Let's read it line by line. At this point, what is it talking about? Is it talking about all delegates as it says in section 1, or is it talking what it says in section 4, for example? Section 4, it says, in addition, if you look at section 4, in addition, the at-large delegates of the constituency committee shall elect one or two persons from the at-large group to serve on the organizing committee. So it is this interchange in Article 3 and Article 4. I think it needs some clarification.
I think that makes it very clear to me how we use it. You see, as I said, we have two types of delegates here. We have delegates who have been appointed or elected by their local churches to come and represent them. We are representing the entire membership of the church in Israel. That's why we don't bring delegates from companies. When we talk of members, churches, we talk of organized churches. And the organized churches will stand in for all members of the church in Israel. So the regular delegates are those elected by organized churches to represent them, because we cannot all come here. And they have the power. We have delegates at large. You must be here as a executive committee member. No church elected you to be here. But by the virtue that you are a member of the executive committee, you are qualified to be a delegate. You are here because you are a union officer. By virtue of your position, you qualify to be a member. I am here as a delegate because I'm an officer of the division. Even that the constitution said that we should be more than 10% of the delegates here from the division to be here. And because I'm privileged by the position to be here, doesn't give me the right to vote. Because I am not representing the members in Serenio SDA Church. I cannot take decisions for the membership of the Serenio SDA Church. And the virtue that we are not being elected by members to represent them, you cannot take a decision for them. So the onus lies on those who have been elected by the members. Go and represent us. Whatever decision we take, we go by it. That's why we hold the section responsible for any decision that they take. So, and the constitution is fair that because we have delegates at large, when we are doing the organizing committee, we can bring in one or two to help them put in place the nominating committee, but they can be part of the nominating committee. That's what this article is trying to say.
No, somebody there.
delegates are started. They have their own meeting and decide the two people.
Good afternoon. This is the first time we're seeing this. My question is, I see very little input in terms of the qualification. For example, the treasurer. We see all the responsibility, but we don't know what will be the qualification for the treasurer. Is it in another document, or we can find it here?
Well, we know who the treasurer should be. We know who qualifies to be a treasurer. The person must be financially, he knows he's an accountant. He goes with a degree, at least a degree in accounting or other fields. Anybody holding a degree and above qualifies. So in the person, to the best of my knowledge, you look at people who hold degrees in finances that can handle our accounting, and then we go by it. But okay, let's leave like that. Even when they come on board, I want to make this statement. When you come on board as an accountant or a treasurer of the civil administration, you can hold any degree, you can be a chartered accountant, you will still learn something because our system is unique. Yes. We have some certain unique things that an accountant or accountant will come to be confused until you are taken through the process to understand.
I think what because we have audited people that also are not chartered accountants or so. Yeah. But in this case, what the church looks at, immediately the individual comes to office, there is process of training until he maintains that status quo. Yes. And after
yeah. According to the Constitution, under the bottom right, it said the delegates have the right to vote when he or she is selected to each or Anglican church. But my question is now, what are you doing to the delegates? About the delegates who are missing from the list? From the list you provide.
So I think it has been clarified. Every delegate counts, except the person is absent. You cannot do otherwise. But if the person is here, if the delegate accredited, you will have the person.
One more point that I heard among the brethren, they are saying that some of the delegates who are accredited to vote, like you rightly explained, may not clearly understand the procedural issues that I explained here, and also quite possibly the candidates themselves. So what do you have to say about it? Can we bring things down to that level?
That's why, in fact, when we are going to elect people to represent us, all these things need to be put into consideration. The person we are elected to represent us, does he understand that what he's going to do really? I mean, we don't just elect anybody to come and represent us. You need to get people who understand what they stand for. So in case you don't do that, you don't blame us. You get the point? We cannot go individually explaining many things. We know that anybody who has been elected by a church here knows his or her right for the left. And I will take it as such. The left will bring it. Don't worry.
Pastor, what I have to say, what I have to say is that this document is our working tool, and we have to know it to our fingertips, because we have seen other areas where in conferences are split, and so And if we happen to face the law of the land, like for example, we go to court, this is the tool they will have to request for. So let us know it very well to our fingertip. The question I want to ask has to do with what my elder asked concerning the president when Pastor Bedu said we need people with experience and so on. So I want to ask, I am not saying it has happened, but it is a question. If we have someone who has 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years experience, but had defrauded the church or bring the church to repetition, then should we say, because of his experience, we put that person as president, and we have on the other hand, a pastor who has 2, 3 years experience coming up? Is a question to
We thank God that we don't have only one question. We have many programs. We are very good. We are very good to choose from. I'm saying that when we are putting people in place, there are other things that come about. When we talk of experience, there are things around it, and we will look at all these things. Yeah. So I mean, we'll look at that at the right time. Let them know people who want to talk, because time is on our side. If you don't take care, somebody will still be doing business. We have no way to go. And the question has become too many. You see, listen, Pastor Koroma said something. We have 4 books of the same day, and they're very important books. They are 4 in number. Number 1, we are the church manual. That is basic. Every church member must hold a church manual. It's your right. And you must know it from first page to the last page. In fact, if you know your church manual, most of what you are saying is the church manual. Most of them are from the church manual. Secondly, we have the elders handbook. Any elder, whether present or past, get a copy. There are a lot of things that are good for you and that will help you to operate as a church elder. Number 3, we have the minister's handbook. It's not meant for church members. The minister's handbook is meant for workers, pastors. That is our working tool. It's our manual that assists us in our operations. The 4th book is the policy book, and we call it telling. It is really the working what? Working policy of the Sventh-day Adventist Church. Working policy. It is meant for those of us who are workers to guide and to direct us as to what and how to do the work. It's not meant for church members. No. We are only making it privy to know what it is. There's nothing secret in it anyway. But it is guiding us and directing us that I will not flout the policies of the church. That is why we have the working policy. So as a worker and as a leader of the church, I must be guided by the working policy. Okay, but so that I don't breach and bring the name of the church into disrepute. That is meant for us. So please, limit the as we grow as a conference, we will go to understand most of these things. But to get every understanding here is impossible. Please, it is impossible. So let us limit our questions and move forward so we can get business done as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor, and thank you for the question. You know, as we look at the draft constitution, we see a little bit of ambiguity. And as questions were asked, I still want to add my voice to it, that when the constitution is being approved, do we implement it verbatim, or people need to explain articles to us? It's very critical that we are clear on that, because we don't want to go to implementation and we start to have explanation.
Excuse me, we are not going to use the word. We are not going to use the word. We are not going to approve. We
We are not here to approve, we are here to adopt. Whether you agree with it or not, we are adopting it. It's not approved. But listen, listen. When you read the article, the initial article of it, this is designed for the world church of the Sventh-day Adventists. World church is not meant for you alone. It's meant for the entire. That's why if you want to amend any point, you go to the process, it will still go back to those who come in the general conference to look at it and do. So we are not here to approve, we are here to adopt. And I'll show you areas we can change. We can add lots of that. But the Constitution is a well-wide approved and voted by the General Conference of the Netherlands. You cannot do otherwise. So we are not doing it to say that.
Yes, I want a clarification here. I just want a clarification here. About two statements that is conflicting, I don't understand. And Aslan asked a question about experience. And you said anybody that wants to apply for the presidency should have 4 to 5 years experience.
I didn't mention years. No. I didn't mention years.
Not for president. You said the person should have experience.
Yeah.
4 to 5 years.
No.
I had that one. Maybe I'm mistaken.
No.
I had that one.
No, madam, listen. We read for the Constitution, it is there. Did you see yes?
You said 4 to 5 years.
No. I didn't say that. You didn't say that.
I had that one clearly.
I said if somebody has worked for 4 or 5 years, do you say the person has experience? I didn't say the person has worked for. Did I say that? It is not entering the Constitution. What put years there?
Okay, I
I just want to make my own comment because it's very, very necessary as Pastor Bendu speak. We are here as delegates elected by local organized churches to represent them. And whatever thing we endorse here, the task and responsibility of understanding what we are doing here is very, very key because we are representing a all recognized church. So they should give us the chance because the document is not with us and they should allow us to view this document as we have seen it, like for Article 10B, which talk about the declaration. Before the reading of the document end, I heard Pastor Kuruma said, this is what we are going to deal with for the next 5 years. But when you look at the documents there, nothing is spelled out there concerning about the duration.
20 years, 5 years.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Then also the criteria for someone to be qualified for the presidential position of the conference. Criteria are not stated. No.
My dear people, hello. I was telling the secretary we have to be patient. This is the first time an election of this nature will take place in Sierra Leone. The past mission, they were having operating policy, not constitution. The conference is having a constitution. Even the union, because we are a union mission, we don't have a constitution. We have an operating policy. Union conference, they have constitution. Because it was an operating policy, everything about this church was done at the union. But because you have a constitution,
That's why we came to you. And the delegates, they are more powerful. They are more powerful. They can take us left, they can take us right. This session is their session. So if we say we want to know the constitution from the A to the Z, let's add 2 more weeks. Let's add 2 more weeks. Because you only gave us 3 days. And 3 days, we have so many other things to do. If we continue with this, we'll enter Sabbath. It happened in Liberia. We entered Sabbath. After that, we got serious backlash. They wrote against me. They wrote against Pastor Bill. They said all manner of things. We don't want that to repeat. So I told them, let's be patient. This is the first time. The questions are in place. We are not saying the questions are not in place. Please, give us time so that we can take up from where we have stopped. We want to start business. We want to start business. We have to form the organizing committee before going to the nominating committee. After nominating committee, we start business. And as I told my secretary, we'll be here till 10 p.m. for today. So pray for us. So my dear people, the rest assured that the people you brought, they will do justice to why you want them to. Nobody is going to force anything. Listen to them. They say take us to the left, we follow. Take us to the right, we follow. If they dump us, it's not our responsibility, but it's your responsibility. But I believe with God's presence, they will do justice for you. Amen. So what to vote is now? Yeah. Someone follow.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kuruma. I think, let me say something small. We are beginning, please. If we don't begin on the sound note, I don't know where we are getting to. I'll be afraid when we move forward. So let us take it gradually. Let us accept certain things, even if you don't understand today. Tomorrow you will understand. The church is a process. You see, as I said somewhere, I don't have any personal interest in this matter. My interest is the Sventh-day Adventist Church. The progress of the church. How we can do mission and save souls for Jesus Christ. That is my interest. Apart from that, I don't have personal interest to benefit from anything from here. No. So we will do our honest best. We will not mislead you. As a teacher, before I graduated, I took an oath as a teacher in those days that woe unto you who misleads his little one, because we're going to teach. As a pastor, we are taking an oath to stand by the truth and the principles of the church. If I come to learn and do otherwise, God will hold me responsible. I ask the question, why am I a Sventh-day Adventist? I am a teacher by profession. In fact, my dream was to be a land economist. I nearly got in there. A pastor came and held my hand. You will be a pastor. Go to seminary. I had to abandon everything. Because I was going to a public institution with pay. I will be a student and I will be able to pay. But I denied to go to a seminary and pay school fees. So if I would deny myself again, I've done myself a disservice. So whatever you are doing here, please, we are doing it with clear conscience. Clear conscience. We will not hide anything. Let us take it gently. So that our field cellular can grow. That's what we are looking for. Thank you.
So my dear people, the rest are short. This work will land safe. Will land safe. All bushing. The question is asked. The question is called. All in favor. Remember, delegates are voting now. Start your work now. All in favor that we adopt this constitution as a tool for the conference. Let me see your right hand. delegates.
Regular delegates.
Regular delegates.
Please note, I am counting.
Pastor, please come down.
I am counting. Because we're going to count now.
Please raise your hand. Regular
With
delegates.
no regular delegates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 49, and 50. 54.
All against. Let me see your right hand. So my dear people is carried.
Zero. I want to thank you for this.
Amen. So now, please go and take your lunch. Hey, Pastor, wait. It's like the worms are saying something in your stomach. You go and take your lunch. What time is it? Can we come by 3? No, 3. Sit down. By 3, let's be here. And by 3:15, from our organizing committee, others will go and sleep. Then the sooner we come in on the meeting committee, will come back. They will give us a room to start business. So, Elder, so let's
Let's start. Our Father and God in heaven, we thank you for today. We thank you for the progress we've made so far. We pray your blessing upon the rest of the activities, but particularly, Lord, the food that you're about to partake. May your Holy Spirit bless so that you can nourish and strengthen us to continue working for you. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Happy eating, eh?
The fullness of redemption, pledge of endless life above. Oh, the height and depth of mercy, oh, the length and breadth of love. Oh, the fullness of redemption, pledge of endless life above. Tell me the story of Jesus. Write on my heart every word. Tell me the story most precious, sweetest. 'Sweetest that ever was heard. Tell me the story most precious, sweetest that ever